Okay, so a little bit of update on the novel situation. The situation isn't novel, of course. I'm referring to a book. I've been writing a book forever. It's been going on forever. No, about 4 or 5 years now. And I was hooked up with an editor recently, and I'm getting to know him. And he's a great and very interesting, very kind, it would appear, bloke. Nice, interesting. I can be honest with him, which is essential. I'd imagine with any worthwhile creative work, but certainly with an autobiographical novel. It's not an autobiography, but it is autobiographic. So that's coming along. Now, I have booked a flight to Thailand. Now, I can't afford the holiday. I mean, I'll be working while I'm out there. Not that, no, I won't be walking the streets offering my little white ass. But I can sit on a laptop, and that's a pleasure in Thailand. Certainly more fun than it is just doing it here. So I'll do that. And what I thought is I will use that time to get my novel to the next stage. So I will give myself, I'm going for about 5 weeks, so I will give myself 2.5 hours a day to get that to the next level, the next point where I give it to the editor and we actually get into the guts of what's the next stage. So that's exciting for me. I'll be continuing to make videos. There'll be exciting ones as well. I'll be in and around Patong. And I just started writing tonight. There's a bit that I've got to drop in, and I'm going to tell you the story now. I mean, spoiler alert, this is going to be in the novel, so if you're really worried, I mean, it doesn't affect the outcome. It won't ruin the story. There's no story in it. This is literary fiction, which is neither literary or fictional. But it's an interesting story. Not necessarily a barrel of laughs, but it'll be interesting. Well, I thought I'd tell you. And what I thought I'd do is I tend to visit Patong, visit in inverted commas, on Google Earth when I'm writing, especially if there are definite and specific locations, like something that happened in the Muay Thai there down on Bangla Road Stadium. I went there on Google Earth, and it's amazingly inspiring. And then I watch a YouTube video of someone walking around the streets of Patong, and it's all the noises, and it really helps. I mean, it'd be interesting if I get some review. Well, it'd be interesting if I get some reviews, but it'd be interesting if I got some reviews and people have said things that strangely reflected the fact that it's inspired by a travesty of recordings and recodings. It was like walking around. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I am unable to articulate what I'm meaning. Which is great when you're a writer. Well, actually it is, because that's why you write sometimes rather than speak. That's why some forms lend themselves. Oh, defend yourself, you twit. Anyway, I thought, because I do that, if I'm going to tell you a story about Patong, I will drop into Patong. So this is some random video about walking along the beach in Patong. I thought I'd put it on while I tell the story. I might switch to some nightlife a bit later, but there you go. That's the area. That's where the novel's set. That's where I've been every year for the last 10 years. That's my spiritual home. Yep. It's kind of weird even looking at it, man. I got hopefully this is what you'll get from the novel. My relationship with this place is pathological. There's certainly more going on than meets the conscious eye. An emotional overinvestment or an emotional underinvestment, one of the two, but not neither. Maybe both. Ow. Maybe a misplaced. Anyway, alright, so I'll give you a little bit of context. I just have a swig of my always hot drink. Yeah, poured it down myself to advertise. Dirty, wet whore. I'll try not to get distracted by those photos. I mean, it might just look like a sunny road to you, but man, there's a Patong-shaped hole in my future and past. Okay. So I went out there to get clean, and I'd done about 6 days, and I was in the height of the acute period of withdrawal, and I hadn't slept. There was puke everywhere. I'd taken a lot of vitamin C out there. I was told that you can do a mega dosing. I mean, I've tried all the attempts. The only way to get clean is to stop taking drugs. But I found out about mega dosing, where you have something like 70 grams of vitamin C a day, and you don't feel any withdrawals. Now, I remember trying this in my early 30s, and I didn't have a very big habit, and it kind of worked. Now, in retrospect, I'm I'm kind of thinking my habit wasn't that big. I anticipated a big withdrawal. It wasn't that bad. I thought it was the vitamin C. Because when I took a load out there with a huge habit, it didn't touch the sides. And also, I had to eat it and I couldn't hold it down. I was puking it and there was like all this day glow puke in the room all over my bed. Tried injecting it, but that's so much vitamin C to get in your system. I had these like 5 ml syringes, there was claret running down my leg and I was all shaking and sweating. Then I got a dirty hip because I hadn't cleaned, you know. I'm not pretending this should have gone anything but bad. I'm not saying I planned a great detox, you know, not blaming anyone apart from myself, that this was just a shit show after another shit show. A tessellation of shit shows. And I broke. I just thought, fuck it, I'm done with it. And that's what it's like, really. You know, I just thought, fuck it, they're gone. And all of a sudden, all my planning, months of preparation, and by planning I just mean committing to the fact I was going to get clean, and what I told my girlfriend at the time, and you know, I told people I work with that I was going to have to take time off work and not be hassled at all, etc., etc. And I just thought, fuck it, I just want to get some heroin in me rapid, and I don't care about anything else or anyone or myself. So that's it, I dragged on some clothes. Now what you've got to remember is a couple of minutes ago I can barely move. You know, my mouth is so parched, I reach over to get some water and I can barely like lift it to me. As soon as I made that decision to score, I was up getting dressed, fucking quick throw some water on my face. Yes, where's the energy coming from all of a sudden? It's almost as if it was, you were overwhelmed with negativity and misery, and actually you're not as bad as your body and mind are telling you. Anyway, shot out of the hotel, down the road. First people you try, of course, are the motorcycle taxi drivers. They will hook you up with methamphetamine, weed, a push, some really poor quality opium. But never have I been offered, seen or heard of heroin in that part of Thailand, which is why I go there to get clean. And it's understandable, it's an expensive drug and they will export that stuff all day long. I mean, I'm sure, I know there's heroin in Thailand, that'd be ridiculous. I've scored plenty in other parts. But around there, never had any luck. That's why I go, and that's why I fucking kick myself on day 6 when I'm out to get some. It's about 10 to midnight, and I'm on this scooter, and the geezer is 100% he can sort me out. I've even got it written on my phone, heroin, in Thai and Lao, so I can show it to him. And he's looking at it, and he's like, yeah. He zooms me around town. I'm on the back of this scooter, and I'm sort of shivering, and I should have put a hooded top on, and I'm making sure I've got my cards on me and some money, all this stuff. Not thinking very far ahead either. You know, I'm focused on just get a night's sleep, have a fucking gin and listen to some music and sit in reception, be normal. I just want to be normal, and I was desperate for it. Now I know that sticking heroin into a hole in your leg isn't normal, but it was certainly more normal than the puking and the shitting and the shivering and the misery and the self-pity and the melancholy. Oh gosh. And now I'm on the back of this scooter and we're zooming around, and he takes me to the front of this hotel, and you know, these are the dregs, and I am, you know, I'm comfortable there for obvious reasons. And I get there and they're like, and now they're fighting each other who's going to do the deal, because whoever does the deal is going to make some money. And I'm just going, I need to see it. And he's going, what are you saying? I got. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to have a look at it. Why would I give you money? What are you saying? And he's walked off, and it's all just going, and then someone else comes up to me and he's got his hand out. And I look down. As soon as I look down, he shuts his hand and goes, why are you causing problems? Just take it. I'm like, mate, blah, blah, blah. This went on for ages. And in the end I went, no one's got any heroin here. And I just sort of walked off all sort of gutted, but just I'm in these sort of meta tractor beams, you know. They've got me, and so they're all chasing me. Hey, no, hey, brother, 100%. I was just going, fuck off. Gone up to another motorcycle courier, and I've turned around and gone, you lot, fuck off. All right. Now I can't fight. I can, but I'm not great at it. I don't want to. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. And but I was just so annoyed. Experience shows me, pull rank and you'll usually get away with it. You know, if you speak like you're hard, and you can often pull it off. And you know, I might make a video in a few months and tell you about when that failed. I'll be sitting here in traction. You know what I said? But I just went, you lot need to fuck off, and they just dissipated. Showed this guy, he's gone, yeah, no problem. Got on the back of his scooter, and he has taken me. And I'm worried because I know that he's not we haven't travelled as far as we've been driving. I know that he's getting me lost. Now this is a flag. A bit of me thinking that's understandable. I've done that, you know. But a bit of me thinking, you know, I'm deliberately having my bearings shot to pieces, and then we end up down this very dark alleyway. But there's nothing to him, and I just think, well, if he calls some friends, I haven't got the strength. Fuck it, I just want the gear. Hopefully, please, Lord, oh Lord. He gets off the bike, he goes over there, and he's on his phone, and I drop in a few words of Thai and a few words of Lao. Oh yeah, that's it. So he's there going, no. So I drop in a few words of Thai and Lao so that he thinks I have a good grasp of the language, and then realises that don't try and stitch me up because I know what you're saying. And he responded to that by walking away. Just making this call over there. Now I'm just in an alleyway, snot running down, eyes watering, shivering, and there's a bloke over there planning my murder. Anyway, he comes back and he just gives me the phone, and I go, hello? And this bloke goes, hey, okay, what you look for? And I was like, just clear as day, loud as you want, this alleyway. You know, it's domestic. There's like people sleeping in rooms. There's lights on. And I go, heroin. I want heroin. Not meth. No. He goes, yeah, heroin. I know. What colour you want? And I went, oh. And I just thought, oh. You know, only one or two people ask that question. Someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. And someone who knows what they're talking about. And because I needed to believe, I just thought, oh, he knows. And I went, brilliant. I said, I'll have some white, if you've got it, white heroin. And I'll have a little bit of brown as well. He went, yeah, no problem. He said, the bloke's going to bring you to me. So I get on the back of this scooter and I'm just thinking, come on, man, even if it takes... I said to the bloke, how long? He went, 5 minutes, 100%, no problem, 5 minutes. I thought, all right, maybe it's going to take 10, 15 minutes. In half hour, I will have that in me and I'll just be able to relax. And I'll start the detox again. I promised myself all this shit. There's a little bit of me thinking, this is the worst decision you've made. This is going to ruin everything you're here for. Everyone you've promised, including yourself. But I know that I'm not going to back on it. No way am I going to go, stop, no. I'm going to go and sit in my room and just shiver and cry. I know that won't happen, so it's almost pointless having those thoughts. I'm on the back of this scooter and we're going along, and I'm sort of not falling asleep, but just passing out. And I'll keep waking up and I'm leaning right off the bike. And I sort of come back and I'm sort of getting a bit worried. And I try and use the long bits of my long T-shirt arms to sort of tie me onto the seat sort of thing. So I'm just thinking, hang on, you're tying yourself onto the back of a motor. What? It's now been 15, 20 minutes. I'm freezing. I've got goosebumps all over me. The air. We're miles away from the town. We're not in Patong anymore, Dorothy. And it looks weird. It's housing estates, which kind of, you know, they look the same wherever you go. And I'm just thinking, oh, this is so dark. And I'm like, mate, how long? He's going, 5 minutes. No problem, 100%, 5 minutes. I look after you. And I think, oh, I just want to know. Even if he said an hour, at least I'd know. But to keep saying 5 minutes and we're now, God knows how long into it. Finally, we hit civilization. I can see some lights in the distance. And we sort of pull over and it's like a little... They're everywhere in Thailand and Cambodia, probably in Asia. They're just these little sort of thrown up cafes, a few boxes, an umbrella and a fridge, and they're selling coffees, teas, booze, fags, whatever. We pull over there and I pick up a bottle of water and I say to him, do you want a drink? And he says, yeah. And I go to the fridge, he goes, no. And then he shouts over, and she comes over, while we're sitting down, she comes over with a shot and like a bottle of beer for him, both of them. And I realise he's drunk. This man's drunk. He's a drinker. And then I also notice that he's only got one eye. His right eye is a big milky globe that doesn't open properly and has got yellow crustaceans on the corners of it. And I'm thinking, I've got like a drunk, half-blind bloke taking me to score in the middle. Oh. And, you know, there's a bit where I just get to witness myself for an instant and have to shut the doors on that immediately because everything I've come to symbolise is a failure. And he's now just going to me, what you do that for? Huh? I was like, hey, what you do that for? Huh? I was like, oh, anyway, how long is he going to be? Is he coming here? And he was like, 5 minutes, 100%, I'll give you 5 minutes. Why you do that, eh? I was like, oh, 5 minutes, yeah? So I look on my phone and I think, right, it's going to be 10 minutes, but, 10 minutes, sorted out 5 minutes, 30 minutes on the scooter back to the place. I'll have it in me in 40 minutes, no worries. After a while of sitting down, 10, 15 minutes, he went, okay, get back on the scooter, drive off, still going, about another half an hour. And I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, hang on, how long have we driving for? Has it been 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes? Has it been an hour? Has it been an hour and a half? How far did you get on an hour and a half? How far out of Patong am I? And by this point as well, he's all over the shop. He's like trying to weave between cars. We get to these odd intersections. And I can tell, and I'm thinking he's only got one eye, and that pissed thing barely works. And I'm on the back, and I'm scared. Finally, we pull up, and I'm struck by the silence. It is silent. It's rare in Thailand. You've got insects. You've got people. And I think for the first time I'd gone somewhere where there appeared to be nothing. It was dead. I could hear something on the motorbike as it cooled down was sort of going. And, it's like when you go into a vault and you can hear your heartbeat. I was thinking that sound has probably never been heard before, although it's never not appeared. Do you know what I mean? It was just the relative audio, the relative acoustic environment was low enough to bring it up. So we just stand there, and then after about 5 minutes or a year, God knows, a couple of scooters pull up, and this bloke's there, and he went, okay, you got the money? And I was like, yeah. I went, let's have a look at it then. And he's opened his hand, and it was like glory. There's like these lumps of chalk in this bag. He went, just white. I was like, yeah, no problem. And I was just like, I went, well, here. Then he went, no, money. And I've gone, all right, and I put my hand in, and I can't remember whether we went from 30 or, I can't remember what the lift was, but I think it was originally something like 30,000. And he upped it to 40,000 baht, not pound. Oh, this was some street deal. 30,000, it was about 500 quid, and he'd upped it, and I was like, mate, that ain't what you said. He went, yeah, but this is from Big Boss, and they say all this stuff, and it's really annoying. Yeah, but Big Boss, he say, I'll do you a favour. It's like eight in there, and I was thinking, what, grams? Jesus, they're still fucking expensive. All this, and I'm looking at it, and there's this mad sort of debate and conversation going on with me, like looking at it, thinking, that ain't you getting out of trouble and getting on with it again. That's the rest of your holiday screwed. That's the rest of your detox screwed. What an idiot. And also the sadness of knowing that there's no way I wasn't going to take it. I wasn't going to go, hang on a minute. No, just went through with it. And so he upped the price, so we had to go to a bank machine. So they've driven us all the way back to Patong. Gone to the bank, put my card in. Nope. And I was like, mate, there's money in there. I went, just give me half of it. I went, give me less than half and I'll give you the full amount. I just want the fucking gear. He went, nah, man, Big Boss, he killed me. You need pay. So I've had to go back to the hotel. Now I've run past the people in reception. Now I'm pissing with sweat. They haven't seen me in 4 days. They've been popping in the room to make sure I'm all right because of my food poisoning. But suddenly I'm running around sweating as Thai men out the front. This is obvious. Something bad's happening. Tourists don't do this. These people are from out of town. They look rough as fuck. And now I've gone and got the business card. I've gone to the bank, and I remember at the bank actually sort of sliding down it, thinking, "Fuck, man, the geezer's got the gear, and I haven't even got the money." I had most of it, but he wouldn't have it. And then in the end, I just looked at him, just like my bottom lip going. I was just crying. I just went, "I can't give you that money. I haven't got it." And he was going, "Get another card. Ask someone. Ask a friend." And I was going, "I haven't got it. I can't do it." I went, "I've offered you what I've got for half of it." And then he just slapped it in my hand, wrote down his phone number, and he said, "I'll come and see you tomorrow." As soon as he said that, I thought, sweet, I know he's legit, because no one would bother with that. What's the point of a phone number and all that? Gone upstairs. Smelt it, and it wasn't great, just nothing really. Stuck it in a spoon, put some water in it, pulled it. As I'm pushing it into my vein, I've noticed the stuff in the spoon has set. It looks like glass. It looks like yellow sort of setting glass. And the needles started blocking. It should just sort of go. But it was sort of going. And I've had to really push it while I hope that the pressure breaks up the bits that have, formed into whatever it was to get it inside of my veins. I mean, I'm crying my eyes out. There's sweat everywhere. And I'm sitting there and I'm slowly coming to terms with the fact that this isn't heroin. Not even close. And I've done all my spending money on it. my money for the next few weeks. I thought I was going to be out of trouble, and no. And I'm still trying to get it in my leg. And then I lay down and think, there's got to be a little bit in there. Maybe it's just really shit quality. Nothing. So then I go and have another one. But as I'm standing up having this one, I notice my right calf muscle sort of solidifies. It sort of feels like I've got like a cramp, but without the pain, it's just a physical sensation of tendons pulling. So I go in the other side, and again I pull it, but as I'm pulling it, it's starting to set. And I know it's not geared, but just on the off chance, please, fuck me, just distract myself from reality. Even, you know, this needle wasn't even a nice little 1 mil or a 2 mil. This was like a 5 mil that I had for the fucking vitamin C. This is a spear. I just thought, this is what your addiction does to you. This could kill you. He hasn't selected whatever random substance this is, going, oh, I don't know about putting that in there. It might damage him. What do you think? Oh, I know. Let's get... No, he's just gone to his mate. Go into the kitchen and find some white powder. Anything but salt. This could be fucking anything. And anything counts in large amounts. Anything counts when you're mainlining it. Anything counts when it's directly into your blood, going to your brain. And I thought, this is the selfish reality of your self-loathing addiction. Your girlfriend and your mother are going to get a phone call. Oh, we found him naked in a hotel room in Thailand on his back. He's been injecting plaster of Paris or God knows what. I thought it might be protein for a while because it sort of smelt slightly of bananas. Fucking hell, the irony. Oh, yeah. And, so yeah, I laid on the bed and cried for a while, and after about 10 minutes I thought, no, I'm not having this. I'm going to make it happen. I got all the strength I could and I went back out there, and I've gone down, I've walked straight past the blokes I asked before, across the road to a bloke who every time I walk past him he goes, cocaine, Charlie, heroin, C. No, sorry, I got it in my head, see? Oh, I wish. What does he say? Weed, ash, cocaine, weed, ash, cocaine. Yeah, and I went up to him and went, right, heroin. He went, oh yeah. I went, really? I went, everyone says yeah, but by this point he could see me. I hadn't eaten in a week, hadn't slept in a week, drawn more than I usually am, sweaty, dirty, like dried blood and plaster of Paris or banana, fuck knows all that. Just not looking great. It's t-shirt soaked through, the panicked eyes of someone who's spent all his money, the desperation of someone failing again and again. And he went, oh yeah, and I showed him on my phone. He went, yeah. Got on the back of another bike, me and him, zoomed off. Again, round and round and round, took me all these weird places. Finally took me to this room, and I'd been in this room before years ago when I had my methamphetamine relapse. And I knew it, and I recognised the faces, and they recognised me. They're like, hey, you remember on the hill? Remember on the hill? And I was like, yeah, I know they're not South American, but, you know. And I went to the bloke, went, this isn't heroin. I went, I'm going. I was just... And, you know, the weird thing about failing on such a mission is you have actually, far from lost anything, far from actually failing, you failed to achieve what you wanted, but you've actually managed to achieve what you needed. No heroin. Anyway, I slowly started to walk off, and he's gone, brother, and he's come over and he's held up this little bag, and he's gone, look, heroin, and he went, this is methamphetamine, pointed to another bag, he went, this special, it's heroin for you. Come on, he said. I went, I need to taste it. I've stuck my finger in the bag and I put it in my tongue. Fuck me, man. It was like, it's hard to explain, like toilet powder. Does such a thing exist? I'm sure my mum used to shake some sort of weird powder down the toilet. It was just, nothing like heroin, but I thought, maybe it's a bit different here, this stuff. You know, I know enough about it to know that's not true. But anyway, I give him the money, and I thought, you know, what's the worst that could happen? So, I mean, bearing in mind, last time I ended up on methamphetamine, I emptied a Glock 9mm in a room full of naked children and got 2 ounces of methamphetamine stuck up my arse, and spent a couple of weeks, God knows what, doing what. Yeah, so be careful, eh? Anyway, I get back to the hotel, and again, I've only got this dirty, big, fat 5mm barrel with this Jesus javelin on it, which now I've probably dropped. It's hit the spoon. Oh, yeah. Jab that in, come on, get an hammer on it. When I've cooked it, it's gone clear water like heroin should, although it smells a bit suspect. I'm thinking, please, Lord, just even if you're lower than average quality, the fact that it's on a spike, I'll be out of trouble. I can just regroup emotionally and mentally, and I'm all shivering, and my room's carnage, and there's this detritus of this ongoing mess of a change of heart I've had. I put it in. As I'm pressing the plunger, it starts to hit me. That's how quick that shit is. As the plunger's going down, I'm like, oh, I know this feeling. This is methamphetamine. Not even decent shards, not even the good stuff from the Burmese guerrillas. Not been knocked up in Kachin in Pagan. No. This is shake and bake. This is proper street level junkie. You can make this kind of meth in a bottle. Cut up silver foil, a couple of battery parts. Beep, 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 beep. Shake it for a while. Leave it to sit. You get the methamphetamine. It's very crude methamphetamine. On a needle, doesn't matter how crude it is. No habit. No. Oh fuck me! Did it hit me? My mouth is just. My heart's going. My first thought is, this is going to kill you. You're going to die. This is a meth overdose. Even meth heads will smoke it until they've got an habit. And even then, probably won't hit as much as I just did, on the off chance it was really weak heroin. And again, I'm thinking, my girlfriend, my mum, they're going to find out. I'm going to be found dead in this room, and the post-mortem, the biopsy, whatever, will suggest, oh, he died of a methamphetamine overdose. And they'll be like, what? Meth? Why was he? What? And they'll think they never knew me, and I was just going through this. And then I just thought, I haven't got the strength. I thought, I need to get into the shower. And my vision starts going. This is the next thing to happen. It's like tunneled, and then it's too much, like too just intense, and then back to a tunnel. My hearing's going. It's all slow, and a little bit. And I'm just thinking, oh man. This, you brought this on yourself, 100%. Oh yeah, 100%, 5 minutes. And I thought, just get in the shower. You've got to get some cold water on you. I mean, I was boiling over. The water was pissing out of me, honestly. I was just like a walking fountain. And I sort of got in the shower, and I've like leant my arm against the wall, and I got my head on it. And I've just sort of turned it on, and it's just going, oops, and it's just all over me, and I'm just, and then I look down and I see because I didn't turn the light on, it's kind of dark in there, but I see a cockroach, and they're like that out there, these big brown fuckers, and they're fearless as well, and it's just sort of running around my feet, and my vision's sort of doing all this, it's like that's what's there, and then I'm getting the luxury of that. So suddenly this one cockroach becomes 2, but then that one becomes like 4. Before I know it, there's like maybe 20 cockroaches all around my feet, and I am 100% not sure how many are there. I know there are some. This isn't a complete hallucination. And I just sort of fall down the wall and just sort of sitting there, feeling my heart, and I just keep saying over and over, it's going to be all right, 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 for about an hour. It's going to be all right. When I finally managed to drag myself out there, crawling across the floor, crawl up onto the bed, lay on the bed just trying to breathe normally, just sort of just going, because I'm having to make the effort to do that because my body's actually wanting to go. I was going, and I stay there until the sun comes up about 7 hours later. Yeah, so soon you'll be able to read the rest of that novel, what came before and what came after that. Fucking dark times, man. Listen, if you want to support my channel on Patreon, subscribe there. If you want Patreon, which will be handy while I'm starving in Thailand, Patreon there. Patreon money's going towards the publication of the novel. Anyone who donates over $10, however, if that's $2 a month for 5 months, if that's one lot of $10, you're going to get a credit in the novel and a free copy of the novel. So Patreon there, subs there. Oh, and I'll put the video there, the one I mentioned earlier. Cool.